Suppose this were a courtroom. A judge is here seated on the bench. Before him is his own son who committed murder. There is no doubt whatever of the son's guilt. He had murdered a boy. The father is bound to execute justice, and he condemns his son to death. Immediately after rendering the sentence, he steps down from the bench and says to his son, "I will die for you." That would be mercy. He would be just when he was sentencing him to death, merciful when he took his place. That is what God does for us, but that is not the total picture. Suppose at the moment that the son was condemned to death, that the boy who had been murdered walked in alive. The son would say, "You say that I killed this boy? You sentence me to death? There's no murder. See, he's alive. I demand to be free." And so we can say, we have been guilty of the death of Christ. We nailed him to that cross. As I look at him, I see there my own life. My autobiography has been written. The pen, the nails, the blood, the ink, the skin, the parchment. I'm guilty of that death. And on Easter Sunday morning, when he rises from the dead, I can say, "See, he's alive! I'm free!" That's the meaning of agape, of love. Now come back to what I said at the beginning. Is it true now that anything is all right provided you love? No. What kind of love? Eros? Erotic? Philia? Agape? And this is the love to which we are committed. Not just a sentimental love, but the love for the unlovable, for those who are anti-love. It is interesting, I don't know, should I go into this or not? So the story of St. Peter? Well, I was going to conclude, but I will go into this love scene. I was at the spot myself. As a matter of fact, you have a picture of it. I was at the Sea of Galilee, where there are two great rocks. The Sunday after Easter, our blessed Lord appeared at that spot, because the Gospel of John tells us that our Lord came to the shore where there was a fire and bread near the fire. 7 men were fishing in the boat. Our Lord said to them, "Have you caught anything?" Now remember, this is the Sunday after the resurrection. Keep that in mind. The Sunday after the resurrection. They could dimly perceive in the morning mist a figure. And John said, "It's the Lord, the risen Lord." And Peter was there, and he'd been naked in the boat, and he put something around him, plunges into the sea, and swims 100 yards to get to our Lord. But then, as we read this story, we find that Peter is back in the boat in a little while, dragging in the net with 153 fishes. Why, if our Peter was so anxious to see our Lord, that he plunged into the sea Why did he go back to the boat? Because of that fire. Those tongues of fire were eloquent tongues. They were reminders of a fire of 10 nights before, when 3 girls, one after another, came up to Peter and said to him, "Have you been with the Master?" He said, "I don't even know the man." And they reminded him of the night he denied our blessed Lord, and he couldn't stand the fire. Those flames were like the fire of hell, and he plunged again into the deep. Then when he came back, the Lord asks him 3 times, "Do you love me?" Now listen carefully. There were 2 in the original gospel, 2 Greek words that were used in the conversation. One word was philein, philia. The other was agape. I'm going to translate philia by natural human love. I'm going to translate agape by a totally divine, sacrificial, committed love.